Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Dreams Unlimited Travel Podcast. My name is John Magi, and I will be your host. And in this episode, we're going to be talking about going to LEGOLAND while you're on your Walt Disney World vacation. I am joined at the table by our panel of experts, Client Services Manager for Dreams Unlimited Travel, Kevin Close.
Hi, everyone.
Agent for Dreams Unlimited Travel, Kathy Whirling.
Hi, everybody.
Hi, welcome, everybody. Thank you for, I know I was very excited, weren't I?
I does.
Thank you for joining us. Thank you for watching and listening. This is part of a series we're going to be doing where we talk about adding something to your Walt Disney World vacation. Is it really worth it? We've done we've done SeaWorld, we've done going outlet shopping, and now we're going to talk about LEGOLAND. So we wanted to look at it from a perspective of how easy is it to get to LEGOLAND, what would be the cost involved in not only getting there, but park admission for the day, what age range does this appeal to, would families enjoy it, is it worth taking a day, possibly either out of your Walt Disney World vacation or adding a day to your Walt Disney World vacation to visit LEGOLAND. So what I did was I decided that it probably wouldn't be appropriate for Kevin and I to walk around LEGOLAND and touch the Legos and try to ride those tiny, tiny little rides. So I asked Kathy if she would do it and take her grandkids. Mm-hmm. And Kathy graciously agreed. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. We've got some pictures, some video, and we'll see how much they enjoyed their trip. So first and foremost, okay, I'm staying at Disney. What would we tell people about getting to LEGOLAND?
It's very easy. It's about, from Disney property, it's probably about an hour, somewhere around there. You can drive there. LEGOLAND has a bus that you can take. If you can get to International Drive, you could Uber over to International Drive. And then LEGOLAND has a bus that takes you out, and it's $5 and something a person. And they'll bring you back at the end of the evening. So each person is only $5 for
that's not
transportation. Bad. So, and there's no tolls. It's straight down I-4. You're on the part of I-4 where there's typically not as much transportation. And
Traffic, you mean?
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
you're doing, because you're getting on after the attractions here in Orlando.
Right.
So you're getting on where it's not as busy.
And then you get on 27 and go down. If you use a GPS, we used Waze, and it sort of took us a little more scenic route that added a few miles to it, but it was nice Florida scenery. But you're there, I said about an hour and 10 minutes.
Do you think there's an option? Would you take a cab? This seems like it's kind of far for a cab.
It's probably a little far for a cab.
Yeah, especially getting one back, I would assume, would be difficult. All right, so we've gotten there, and we've shown up in LEGOLAND, and we're all excited to get in. How much are they fleecing us to actually get into this park?
Okay, if I could see the slide for the ticket prices, this is what, the best thing to do is to buy your tickets ahead of time. They give you a discount if you buy a couple days ahead of, this slide here is if you purchase 2 days in advance, and you'll get these prices. If you do a walk-up, the prices are going to be more. But if you're a member of AAA offers the tickets at a much better price. I think the tickets there were like $69 plus tax, where the lowest one here is like $79, $89, whatever it was. Some of the packages come with additional things that I don't know why you need LEGOLAND, why you're paying for LEGOLAND money in your ticket.
What, like buying Disney dollars, the equivalent of Disney dollars, LEGOLAND money?
Right.
That's weird.
You get these, the one level of ticket, you get like $20. And it's like, I could just hand you a $20 bill. I didn't get I guess they want to hook you to use, spend it in the park.
Did you buy your tickets in advance?
Yes, I did.
What was it for adult and for a child for you?
The adult, I think, was $69, and kids were like $63. But you get a free day then at the water park within that ticket. So the water parks, I think, are like $40, $50. So it was like a nice combo that I got.
Was there a certain amount of time you had to come back and use that water park ticket? Was it
I think it's till the end of their season, which is like October.
Wow. All right.
So, That was nice. And as far as like parking, again, I didn't notice this before I went, but even if you buy your parking online, it's $17 to get in for parking. It's $15 if you buy it online. But the hidden thing to do here, it's $22 if you do preferred parking. So you're going to save a couple dollars, but those are solar panels across the top there. You come out and your car is still cool after you've been in the park all day. I don't know how they do it. I don't know what it does, but not
It's called shade.
I was going to say they've invented shade.
Well, no, it was actually cooler. It was like nice getting in the
I'm
car.
just teasing you.
There wasn't fans or anything under there being run by
I don't know
solar?
what it was, but we came out and it's like you could feel a difference in the temperature there.
Wow.
And not too much further from preferred was standard parking. And I'm like, for $5, why would anybody park in the hot sun when you can park under these solar?
Is it much closer to the door? Or
Yes.
is it just under the thing?
Yes, it is much closer to the door. I'm steps away. So
This is on the grounds of the old Cypress Gardens, right?
yeah.
Is there any sort of nod to that?
you can still get into part of Cypress Gardens when you get down further, but you can see with the trees and like they didn't cut everything down when they built the
They didn't
park.
bulldoze Cypress Gardens?
No, it's very nice with the big mature trees, and if you weren't into riding the rides, there's still lots to see as an adult.
It's also very old Florida. So if you're
Yes.
interested in sort of seeing old Florida, you can visit down there. All right. So you've gotten there, you've parked, you're in the park. This feels to me like it's aimed at very young children. Not very young children. It's aimed at children. So tell us a little bit about what you guys did. You brought your grandkids to sort of, see what their enjoyment level would be. But you show up to the park, and what's sort of the first impression you get? Because you're a Walt Disney World girl.
Yes.
So you get to Legoland and you think what?
Well, first of all, my grandkids are 5 and 3. Legoland says that the park is like themed for 3 to 12-year-olds, and I think that's pretty accurate. You didn't see a lot of like teenagers in the park. Here, the mandatory picture you have to get as you come in, so it's a lot like Disney World, but different at the same time. My grandson, before we went up there, they didn't know until they came to my house that they were going to Legoland, because I wanted to see what they thought of, what we were going to go see. And all of a sudden, my grandson goes, "Hey, I saw this on HGTV, Legoland. Yeah, it's for boys and girls, and I want to go on this one particular ride." And I'm like, how does he know this? And he says, "And I heard about the apple fries." And we're like, so somehow or other marketing's gotten to 5-year-olds that they know about Legoland. So for us, he had this ride that he wanted to do, is sponsored by Ford. It's the driving school. And he goes, and when you're done, they give you a driver's license.
Do you have some pictures of that? We can show some pictures
Yeah,
of
there's
the
a picture
driving
of
school.
there's the little kids. There's up to 5, and then 6 on up go to a different area. And here they had a lot of what they call their cast members are model citizens. So they had a bunch of model citizens. There's the kids with the full-size Mustang. Checking that out.
So now, explain to me what he was riding. Was it something that was self-propelled, or was it on a track?
It was like, the little cars you get that you hit the pedal. No, you could drive it wherever you wanted within that area. It wasn't on
That
a
seems
track.
dangerous.
Well, that's why I guess they had a lot of model citizens in there watching. Because, he knew to step on the gas and how to steer. Now, Persephone, who's 3, had really no clue. So the model citizen sort of walked her around.
Stop calling them that.
Really? Please stop calling
The employee
employee.
walked around with her as she did it. And then at the end of the ride, they got a driver's license that, they had fulfilled the requirements and taken the test.
Was it made of Legos?
No, it's cute. But my grandson then's like, "I've got a driver's license."
Oh, that's
so when
funny.
we got out to the car, I'm like, "Oh, Gage, you got your driver's license." So he was going to the driver's side. I says, "Gage, we just have a little problem. You're not high enough to see out." But like this Mustang here, that's made out of Legos, and it makes sounds and smoke comes out the exhaust like you can hear the rumble of the tailpipe. So he was just fascinated.
Does he know what Legos are? Is this a toy that's popular now?
Oh, yeah.
People are going to kill me.
Yeah.
They're going to write bad things to me.
And for Christmas, he got a small Lego Mustang that him and his father put together.
Oh,
So to
cool.
see the big size, and then of course, I happen to have owned one of these back in the day, so I had to tell Grandma stories. So he was fascinated.
Grandma cruising in a Mustang.
Yep,
In a
yep.
Lego car.
So from there, we went over to the fire academy, and you got a bunch of people in there, your group, and you had to pump the handle, and it took you up. I don't know if I put the picture in there that you're like you're playing fireman and you're shooting at the building, and then you had to jump back in. Katie wasn't too thrilled with this one because she had to pump for, I think we had 6 or 8 people in the thing, so she had to pump the car to get it to move, the fire engine to move back on the track. And the first person who went up and came back was the winner.
So you pump the fire truck to get to the firing water stations,
Right.
the water pump stations.
And then they say,
And you-
okay, all done. And then you jump back in your fire engine and have to pump your way back.
Did the kids enjoy this?
Oh,
Was
kids loved it.
Wow, okay.
So we tried to do the things, and where these two things were at the furthest back end of the park.
Of course, that's where they want to go.
I want to go first.
Well, when my grandson said this was what he wanted to do, it's like, okay, well, then we're going to. And what's different about Legoland than Walt Disney World or even Universal, it's a lot of hills. It's like being back in Pennsylvania. So you had to walk like up a hill and then like down the mountain, and it's not just a flat park.
How was the crowds? Was it crowded?
It was fairly crowded because when we got to the boats, they waited in line a good 45 minutes. So, and the thing here is the grandma, as you see on the boats, there's nobody there to help you get in the boat. That boat is just free floating in the water. I probably would have tripped, and the people who work there are not allowed to help you get in the boat.
I got to tell you, this really sounds dangerous. Between the car that the kids drive themselves and the boats that float by themselves?
Some of that stuff, and then looking,
I don't understand. So the boat, is it propelled at all? Or are you just floating around the lake and hoping that you eventually land and get
well,
out?
here, as they came around the corner, again, you have like a little gas pedal, and
All
you
right,
have a
so
steering wheel.
there's
but
something
it's
that's
still free floating. But that's where I was standing, and I was watching them do this and comparing it to Disney, which I probably shouldn't do. But looking at like the upkeep and stuff,
The boat looks a little banged up.
yeah, banged up. And there was one that went by that up on the top, it's supposed to look like it's a Lego on the top. Somebody must have busted part of the Lego off, and there was like yellow where there should have been blue. Like you would never see that at Disney.
Is this a ride that kids can do by themselves, or does it have to have an adult in it?
They want you to have an adult.
I would imagine it looks like you have to.
Yeah, and they have height requirements. And when you come into the park, you can go to a certain station, and they will measure you right there, and they'll give you a wristband. So then there's never any doubt as you go through the park,
What rides you can ride or which
right,
rides you can't.
and what height you can do.
Let's look at some more of these
This
rides.
boat looks like it could use a little.
Yeah, TLC.
Right.
Let's look at some of the other rides that the kids had a chance to do, just to sort of see if it would be like a full day or not.
I think you could do a full day. We were there about 5 hours, and the kids were starting to get to the point where it's like, okay, now it's time to.
Oh, okay.
Was that the park or was that the kids?
The kids probably could have gone longer. I mean, there was more things we could have done, but with the crowds and it was a little bit warm, and I think they like reached their maximum.
I guess that's what I mean. I wasn't judging your kids. I meant, a 5 and a 3-year-old.
Yeah, sometimes it depends on the kid.
Right.
So now, what is this death trap we're looking at?
This was
Did Katie have to power this one?
yes,
Shut up,
Katie
Pump.
did.
Oh my God.
Yes.
Poor Katie.
Yes. So to go up in the air, sort of like on the principle of Dumbo, but you have to cycle. And my grandson said, "I'll help you, Katie." Well, it
So
didn't.
if you're going to Legoland, is Katie hiring herself out
As the motor.
as the battery?
So Katie was the one that went on most of the rides with the grandkids while I took the pictures.
So what happens here? Someone has to pedal, and the kids get to go up and down like Dumbo. And
Yes, and if you take your foot off, quit pedaling, you're going to come down. The thing that was nice here is like you would probably want to do that with like your older kids. Next to that was like a play area for the smaller kids. And next to that, there was a water like cycle ride that every time it splashed, my granddaughter screamed, and so did every other kid. I don't know if they thought they were going to get wet. They really weren't that close, but it scared the living daylights out of the kids.
funny.
In
Did
that
Katie
area.
have to power that?
really,
Did Katie get a prize at the end of the day?
really.
I just said thank you to Katie, but as you're coming in, like the first part that you're going to see is the Legos section. And I was amazed. There was a lot of Star Wars Legos creations.
Well, this is kind of where it all started, right? It all started
Right.
in these replicas, and they do things like elaborate cities and some of that stuff. Let's show some of those pictures, because I was looking through this. This is pretty impressive.
And here at Kennedy Space Center, they also had one with a space shuttle that I think it's 15 minutes or so, they simulate like the space shuttle taking off, and there's smoke and it like rises up. There's Las Vegas area.
These are all, there's a space shuttle. These are all made out of Lego.
Yes.
Every last thing is made out of Lego. Were the kids interested in this, or was this kind of like, and then move on?
Oh, no.
Wow.
I had to like practically pry them out of this area. They loved it. And every so often they'll have, like they had a city, and then they had a button there that you could hit and water would squirt. Well, the one time my grandson, I was so busy taking the pictures, he hit the button. Well, I got wet, and of course he thought that was a big deal.
Of course, that's a big deal. Go back to that picture before this one. What was that of? The sort of racetrack?
Is that Daytona?
There's Daytona Speedway. But
Are these sort of, no, you said there's Las Vegas, so they're not sort of Florida themed.
it's a little bit of everything. And, like they'll have a car. It was doing the donuts, like when it won the race. There's a lot of stuff going on. There's like a New York area. Lots for the kids to just stand there and look at. And I said, the Star Wars area, I mean, I know a little bit about Star Wars. And he's there, oh, and this is, so like he was impressed with the fact that there was all this Star Wars
Me too.
stuff, and,
So
and they had
Kevin,
a
very
life-size Darth Vader that we got our picture taken with. The kids like that. They also have it's May 6th and 7th and 13 and 14. And they have a Star Wars Day up
So
at
this is, wait a minute, so
Legoland.
this is Darth Vader made of Legos.
Yes,
Wow,
He's rough around the edges.
yeah.
pretty cool.
So the kids just thought that was great that they could get their picture taken, and both of them are a little hesitant with real people, so getting them picture taken with a Lego character was perfect.
They weren't as scared as a real character.
No, they thought, come on, Grandma, let's go get our picture taken.
Have we talked about all the rides? Were there other rides?
Oh, there's all kind of rides. There's one when you come in, that's probably for the bigger age, older children, that it's like it's like a revolving room, and it's on the end of like an
Oh,
arm.
yeah, I saw that picture. That looked, again, I'm scared of Legoland, I have to admit.
And then
It just frightens
You think
me.
those rides are made out of Legos too?
I think so, and I think those little pieces are going to hit me in the eye.
We're not going unless we take Katie.
I don't know how we're going to.
and there's roller coasters, which of course I won't do.
real roller coasters.
Real roller coasters.
Okay, like let's liken it to something else. What other roller coaster is it like?
It's the one in next to Dumbo.
The
Goofy's
Barnstormer?
Barnstormer?
Barnstormer.
Oh, okay.
And there's other ones that are a little more intense than that. Katie and I were there opening day a number of years ago, and she did it and said it was,
Let's flip through the ride pictures and let's see if there's anything that.
And this is the kids. Then there's a kids area to play in, and there's like a train, but around the train there's little. I think there's a picture of that too, where you can hit a button and it makes sounds like a sheep, or it keeps the kids occupied, either waiting in line for the train or just something else to do.
Do we have any more ride shots that we can look at? All right, so that's all we have for that. Was the train moving? Were they riding the train?
Yes, you could ride the train. Legoland has a 2-story carousel I didn't get to ride that because that was like my speed, not grandkids' speed. But you could definitely stay. If you were like more towards the 12, you could spend all day there finding
So
things
you
to
spent
ride.
about 5.5 hours in the park. Did you find that you had enough to do
Oh,
in
plenty
5.5
to
hours?
do. Yeah, and the kids still wanted to do more, and I'm like, no, they're at their limit.
They're too tired. Well, of course, I'm sure that at some point you decided to feed them.
Yes.
So let's talk a little bit about the food options that are available at. What's the matter?
So at some point you decided to feed them. I don't think that's an option.
Well, I don't know how to take care of kids. What do I know?
Well,
I just thought maybe they went and they bought themselves a bourbon and a hot dog and had a good day.
Well, Katie brought snacks for the kids. So we had some chips and we had some fruit and we had some water so that as we were going around, if they thought they needed something, we didn't need to sit down right that particular moment.
Did you feel like it was like you had to hide it, or did you just walk in with it and everything was fine?
Nobody,
Yeah,
they have a bag check when you go through, and they looked, and nobody said anything.
Nobody cared
But
about
they've got a number of different places in the park. There's like a place that just does hamburgers. There's a place that does pizza.
Again, looking at the menus, looking at the maps and stuff, the food felt like it was geared towards kids to me. They were
Yeah.
looked like there was chicken tenders and things that kids would eat as opposed to
Right.
adults.
You're not going to
would
find
eat.
like a chicken dinner with mashed potatoes or whatever. It's your park food kind of stuff. And there's a number of quick service locations as you go around. I like their, what they had for restaurants like the pizza place and stuff.
I'm just going to read the titles. Market Restaurant, Pizza Pasta Buffet, Lakeside Restaurant, Panini Grill, Castle Burger, and Burger Kitchen, and then Granny's Apple Fries. This is what's intriguing me.
I know Kevin is zeroed in on the apple fries. Let's talk about those.
The apple fries. The last time I was up there, that was the one thing I wanted and I didn't get there. There's a long line for apple fries.
Now, is
And-
that sugar on there?
Cinnamon sugar.
And is that like a scoop of ice cream? Is that like a
It's
soft
like
serve?
whipped cream.
Oh, wow.
Yes. And that's where my grandson just, I said, he went crazy when I put these down. And it just smells so good in that area.
Nothing smells better than fried apples and cinnamon.
Yeah.
Right? That's
Yeah.
incredible.
So I think this was $7.99.
Oh, that's cheap.
And four of us, had it. Probably could go for a little bit bigger size, but to dip it in the whipped cream, it was really good.
I know you did a little video with them. Let's play that and see their reaction to eating their apple fries. I watch Kevin drool.
Quiet.
What are we
So
eating?
at LEGOLANd, there's these apple fries. They're awesome. Come with a bucket. They have cinnamon and cream.
All my questions are
Crumb,
answered.
crumb, crumb.
They're very good. What do you think, Kay? Do you like it?
Yeah. So that's it. Beep up, put it up.
So sugar is kicked in now.
Yes, and see,
you're ready
that's
to-
when I know that he's tired when he does stuff like that.
Yeah. I mean, they look good. They look like they'd be
Oh, they're
tasty.
so good.
The kids are adorable.
They're adorable. Did you eat anything else besides the apple fries? Did you order anything and eat there?
Yes, we had the hamburger meals at whatever, was it Burger Hut or whatever? it was
Castle
called.
Burger?
Yeah. They were very good. They weren't like your typical hamburgers. They were worth the money. But for four of us, we had 2 kids' meals, 2 regular meals. I think it came to like $43. So it's not cheap, but then
Yeah.
and
It's a
then in
theme
the
park.
food we ate outside because it was like one of when we had that cooler weather that it was heavenly to be outside. They also have feral cats that roam the area.
Are they covered in cinnamon?
But the kids, not only my grandkids, but all the other kids were chasing the feral cats. So I don't know if that's the unintended.
Could have saved money on admission. And run them right to feral cat land.
Yeah. So, but they loved everything. They loved the food. My grandson's still talking about having been there.
So let's talk a little bit about, now you've got a client who's coming to Walt Disney World. Obviously, children in this age range. We want to make sure that, you don't send them if the kids are not in the appropriate age range. Is this something that's worth taking time out of your Walt Disney World vacation?
I think
do?
so. If your kids are into Legos, and I know a lot of I get asked quite often, should they go there? And I'm like, yeah, they should. It's, if you're into Legos, you're into creating, that kind of stuff, yeah, you should.
I assume they have stores, right? You must
Just
be able to
is there a
buy.
big push to buy stuff?
Oh, of course there's stores.
Well, that's a big
There's
one.
there's little stores along the way. That there is the hotel as you as you come in. So the hotel is just that close. There's the store there. And we had said to the kids, if you behave yourself going through, we'll let you pick one gift in the gift shop. And so, my grandson took his time and my granddaughter was like looking at everything. So they were very good. They got what they wanted. And the gift shop is fairly close to where you leave the park. So that worked out well. It's like that was the last thing we did was go to the gift shop.
Is it all Lego kits to put together, or is it other stuff?
There was clothes, there was mugs, there was puzzles, there was Lego kits to put together. And if you spend $50, you get $10 back. So you can't beat that.
And I'm imagining it's not hard to spend $50.
No.
Legos, absolutely not.
No.
Suckers are expensive.
And
So-
even more expensive is the doctor's visit after you step on one.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah.
So you showed a little bit about the hotel. We're not talking about it. The show isn't about the context of staying there because there is a hotel right on Legoland properties attached to the resort. It looks really nice and it's close. But this is more about you're staying at Disney. Let's drive down,
Right.
and then let's come back. So maybe another day we'll do a talk about staying at the resort.
And they do have, now they've opened a beach side. They had the water park, but now they've opened a beach resort. So if you wanted to spend a day or two out there, you've got a choice of places to stay. And before we move on to anything else, just wanted to mention they've also now started, they have a policy or they've decided, I don't know the correct way to say this, but now they can accommodate children with autism.
Oh,
You
wow.
can get a pass. It's called a Blue Hero Pass, and you can get it at guest services. And there's little quiet rooms where the kids can wait. They have no noise canceling headphones, weighted blankets, squishy toys, and Lego building tables scattered throughout the park that if you see that your child's getting overwhelmed or whatever, you can take them to these areas. So, and they have special cast members in these areas that can help with that kind of stuff. So if that's a concern, Legoland can accommodate you there too.
Also, once you're this far out, aren't you you're much closer to Busch Gardens, right? I think you are.
And I think you'd have to go down I-4 further.
Right, it's further than this,
Yeah.
but you're closer than you are at Disney World.
Yes.
So, like, if you were looking to make a weekend out of it, you
Sure.
could combine the two of those.
Yeah, you could do that.
We should do a show on Busch Gardens one day.
Have
I
you
will
ever
go
been?
do that, but we're going to stop for apple fries.
We are. We're gonna stop at apple fries. It's gonna be one expensive apple fry. Anything we didn't talk about that you want to make sure people know about Legoland?
I would just say it's not Disney. It's different. But they do have little characters you can trade with their people. We won't mention the name, the model citizens. You can trade with them. There's a movie you can watch. They've been having different characters up there that you can see. They have shows. They have the water show. If your kids are on the older side, you can watch the Lego characters water skiing, and that's part of the old Cypress
I was going to say that's a
Gardens.
holdover from Cypress Gardens.
Yeah. So, and you, like I said, you can walk over to Cypress Gardens if you're the adult or you're the second adult and Legoland's too much. You could go over there and just relax for a little bit. So they do have a lot of stuff, so it's not like you're spending a lot of money and not getting to do a lot of things. There was plenty of things to keep kids happy.
You mentioned there's some special weekends.
There was
special events?
the Lego Star Wars weekends. There's the Kids Bop weekend. There's a Legoland Night Lights weekends in July. They just had something with the Batman characters up there. I purposely didn't go on those weekends just because I figured it was going to be busier.
Well, I mean, we also wanted you to get sort of a regular day.
Right.
Now,
Sort
I have
of
a question. You said the end of their season. Is Legoland closed in the winter?
They're not open as many days, but they have a date like on the tickets that expire after a certain, I think it's October 21st. But sometimes Tuesdays and Wednesdays they're not open during the season. But on their website's got all kind of information. It'll tell you what the park hours are, so you're not surprised when you drive up and they're not open
Had you been to Legoland before this?
the day it opened.
Big difference between then and now? A lot of new stuff added, or is it the same?
No, it's still pretty much the same. They've closed off like some pathways and stuff, but it's still pretty much the same. I said, if you've got younger kids and you're looking for something different, I said, for this age, for my grandkids, this was perfect for them because there was a lot of things for them to do that maybe, like if you went to Magic Kingdom, there's not as many things to do as Legoland would have.
When we did our Universal show, one of the things that we talked about was that, not Universal, I keep doing that. When we did the SeaWorld show, one of the things we talked about was that doing this day is kind of like taking a breather from Disney. You're kind of getting away from that Disney hustle and bustle and the intense crowds and the fast passes and I got to do this. This feels a little bit more like that.
A little
to me.
slower paced.
Yeah. And maybe also give the kids a little bit of breathing room.
Yes.
So they don't feel so overwhelmed.
This sounds a little more interactive than Disney also. And that's not a slam against Disney, obviously, but it seems like if you have to pedal or pump or push or whatever Katie was
forced to
do. I'm sorry, Katie. It sounds a little more interactive.
It was. And I said, the kids loved getting time to hang out with us and do things. And they got a big kick out of the fact that Katie went on the rides with them. But I said, here with the trees, and it's just a beautiful park.
I've been looking at the background because, as I said, I grew up with Cypress Gardens. That was always one of the things. But it looks to me like they've kept some of that beautiful landscaping.
They have.
Stuff.
They've sort of built the attractions in and around. I'm sure they took out a bunch of trees, but even like back where the roller coasters are, walking up, it's, like trees are just covering both sides of the road. It's very tranquil. You almost don't feel like you're in a theme park.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I agree. So it sounds like you liked it. Like you had a good time.
Yes.
Did the kids enjoy it?
Oh, the kids loved it. They're still talking
Is
about it.
Katie out of therapy?
I know we have a little bit of we put together a little video with the kids telling what they thought of the park, giving us their opinion of it. If we can just play that real quick to make sure that Kathy's not lying.
What's up today, guys? We're here at Legoland. Legoland! Woo!
Are we having fun?
Yeah!
What did we do?
Every boy and girl should come here. It's the best place ever.
And what was your favorite ride?
The car one because I earned my first driver's license.
How about the boat? Was the boat fun?
Yeah.
Is there lots of stuff for boys and girls to do here?
Yeah.
So let's say goodbye to the boys and girls out there.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.
She was distracted.
That car thing was the best thing ever. He got his license, I'm telling you.
He's so cute. He's animated.
He's also very much
Best
a boy, right?
thing ever, yeah.
I want to focus on that.
I just said, tell somebody if they wanted to know about Legoland, what would you tell them? And he came up with that. So
That's cool. It's good. I'm glad you guys had a good time. Again, not geared towards us, not geared to our age group or anything we would want to do. But I think that having this option,
Jaded old men.
yeah, exactly. Having this option and having the ability to take kids of this age someplace where it's really geared towards them. And it's really all about them, and they're not worried about someone wants to go on a ride and now I've got to wait for them to get off a ride. It's really about them doing it. It sounds fantastic.
Sometimes I think Magic Kingdom for young kids is overwhelming. We used to joke that kids in strollers used to look at butts.
yeah.
This seems like they could be out and about and a little more, I keep saying interactive, but a little more for them to do than even the Magic Kingdom.
We had a stroller for the two of them, and there was times they wanted to sit in the stroller, and there was times you could just sort of let them go, where you can't usually do that in a theme park.
Yeah. How
So,
crazy it is.
they felt like they had their freedom, and they still got to do what they needed to do.
It looks like they had a good time.
They
They had
did.
apple fries.
Yeah, really. Who could not have a bad time?
Kids.
So, Kathy, thank you so much
you're welcome.
for doing the research.
Thank you,
If-
grandkids and Katie.
Yeah. If you're interested in adding a Legoland vacation to your Walt Disney World vacation, talk to your Dreams Unlimited travel agent. They will be more than happy to help you arrange that, help you get the tickets in advance and all that good stuff. Thank you again, guys, for helping me out, for participating, for all the work you
Thank you
did.
for having me.
And thank you, everybody at home, for listening and watching. We hope you have a great week, and we hope you have a great vacation.